Hey there, and welcome to this explainer. So you've been thinking about a career change, right? Maybe you're looking for something that gets you out from behind a desk all day, but you really don't want to spend years grinding through trade apprenticeships. Well, you might have stumbled across the role of a UK Domestic Energy Assessor. But what does that actually look like in the real world? Today, we're going to dive into a guided self-assessment to see if becoming a Domestic Energy Assessor is your ideal next career move. We'll be pulling the facts directly from official training and career materials to give you the real scoop. Here's a quick look at our roadmap for today. We'll breeze through the DEA day-to-day, the traits of an assessor, qualifications and training, how AI fits into the picture, and finally, the gritty reality of your very first week on the job. First up, the DEA day-to-day. We really need to strip away all the assumptions and look at what a Domestic Energy Assessor, or DEA, actually does on a random Tuesday. To start off, the absolutely crucial thing to understand is the core output of your job. Basically, you'll be visiting existing homes, houses, flats, bungalows, you name it, in a completely non-invasive way to gather evidence. You're going to be checking the property's age, the windows, the heating systems, and the insulation. You'll take a bunch of photographs and sketch out floor plans. Then, you take all that raw data and plug it into specialist software called RdSAP. The ultimate goal of all this? Generating an Energy Performance Certificate, or an EPC, for that specific property. Now, let's be real for a second. There is a huge contrast between the super rewarding elements of this job and, well, the unvarnished reality. On the plus side, it is a fantastic role if you want to be part of a field that's genuinely linked to better housing and lower energy use. You get to see totally different homes, meet all sorts of people, and explain how they can make their houses more efficient. But the honest truth? It involves a ton of repetitive measuring, dealing with annoying access issues, driving around all day, and doing enough admin work after every single visit to literally make your head spin. It's a true mix of face-to-face people contact and highly structured, routine technical work. So pause for a second and ask yourself a brutally honest question. Are you comfortable performing similar, highly structured technical checks on property after property? Could you stay laser-focused and accurate with your notes and photos on your fourth house visit of the day? Moving right along to traits of an assessor. Let's see how your natural personality aligns with the demands of the job, because it's not just about what you do, it's about who you are. You know, the National Career Service lists a whole bunch of official requirements, using phrases like analytical thinking and engineering knowledge, but translating that heavy jargon into plain English, the ideal candidate is basically someone who is observant, perfectly fine with daily routine, and calm when dealing with the public. You also need to be totally willing to learn technical basics without feeling the pressure to pretend you know absolutely everything on day one. Which brings us to a kind of surprising truth about the job. This isn't just a green job. It is very much a detail and routine job. Believe it or not, standard office skills transfer incredibly well here. If you are great at note-taking, scheduling your week, and turning messy information into tidy forms, you are already off to a fantastic start. However, if you absolutely despise travel, hate running through repeated checklists, or get super stressed out being responsible for accurate records under time pressure, you'll probably struggle. Time for a quick gut check. Do you actually enjoy spotting the tiny details that other people completely miss? Ask yourself if you would genuinely like being the person carefully checking the exact type of window glazing or the thickness of loft insulation, knowing that your observation directly impacts a building's final energy rating. Next up, qualifications and training routes. If your personality feels like a match and you're still nodding along, let's look at the realistic paths to get you fully certified. Unlike a lot of trade-heavy construction jobs, becoming a DEA has a remarkably clear step-by-step entry route. The most common path goes like this. You learn the absolute basics of homes, jump straight into a Level 3 certificate in domestic energy assessment, and then complete your required portfolio. That portfolio phase usually means doing a simulated EPC and then a few real-world ones. After that, you join an approved accreditation scheme, like Elmhurst, for example, and boom, you are ready to start doing supervised or paid assessments. But, and this is a really big but, fast training does not mean instant confidence. You might see a 5-day classroom option or a fast-paced 3-day live online course out there. While those are definitely great, rushing through the classroom portion won't magically make you an expert overnight. The portfolio phase and the actual real-world practice are where everything clicks and you truly learn to do the job accurately. So reflect on this for a second. Whether you're coming straight from a corporate office job or starting entirely from scratch, are you genuinely willing to hit the books for a Level 3 qualification?
And once you have that certificate in hand, do you trust yourself to work completely independently in someone else's home using specialized software? All right, on to how AI fits in. Because we really have to talk about artificial intelligence and where it actually helps in this job and where it completely falls flat. Turns out, AI is an absolutely fantastic assistant for the heavy admin side of being a DEA. Because there is a whole lot of paperwork and communication involved, you can use AI to magically turn your rough, muddy site notes into a tidy draft summary. You can use it to draft customer follow-up emails or even build out customized checklists for your visits. It's also a lifesaver for translating incredibly complex EPC jargon into plain, everyday English for the homeowners. But I absolutely love this quote from the training material because it is just such a reality check. AI cannot inspect a property for you. It cannot safely invent missing measurements. It literally cannot replace human review. As the assessor, you are personally and legally accountable for the data entered into that RdSAP software. You just can't pretend the software output is magically correct if the data you fed it was wrong or totally guessed by an AI. So, knowing exactly where AI shines and where it totally fails, that it's great for admin and drafting, but useless for site observation and human judgment, does that heavy organizational side of the job feel a little more manageable to you now? Let's dive into your first week reality. This is what you've probably been waiting for, what your actual first week on the job is going to look and feel like. Honestly, those first 5 days, they are an absolute whirlwind. On day 1, you get hit with the company induction. You start learning the software, and you're pretty much drowning in key terms. By day 2, you're shadowing an experienced pro to see the actual flow of a visit. Day 3 is all about reviewing past assessments and trying your hand at sketching floor plans. Day 4, you're out there doing a supervised practice survey yourself. And by day 5, you're checking your own notes against the software and getting real feedback on your accuracy. It is a steep, fast-paced climb. The unvarnished truth is that week 1 is going to feel pretty awkward and tiring. There is so much jargon thrown at you, you'll constantly worry about missing something crucial on site, and the sheer amount of paperwork will probably shock you. But here is the really encouraging part. Nobody expects you to know everything in week 1. Your only real goals are to notice details, ask sensible questions, be totally honest when you're stuck, and just absorb the feedback. So, time to be brutally honest again. Does pushing through all that messy, jargon-heavy awkwardness of the first week sound like a challenge you are actually up for? Can you picture yourself learning this whole process, step by step? And that brings us to our final reality check. We've reached the end of our guided self-assessment, so let's figure out what your next move should be. Before you make any big leaps, you've got to test the waters. Try these 3 practical steps this week. Step 1. Go read some real UK job adverts for domestic energy assessors and just notice the skills they keep asking for. Step 2, watch some beginner material online about how homes actually lose heat and how that RdSAP software works. And step 3, do a mini mock assessment right where you're sitting. Walk around your own home, locate the heating system, look for visible insulation, and see if you genuinely enjoy thinking like an assessor. I'm going to leave you with one final thought to chew on today as you consider your future. After everything we've dug into here, what truly attracts you to the domestic energy assessor role, and what honestly puts you off? Take your time answering that for yourself. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, happy career hunting.